Elon Musk purchased Twitter for $44 billion US. Following a lengthy legal dispute, the founder of Tesla and SpaceX took over the company earlier in the month. Following this, there were outpours of both support for Musk and also against him, with many celebrities leaving the platform or threatening to do so. There are three key arguments in favour of Musk's takeover of Twitter. The first one is that it was necessary. Before his takeover, Twitter was hugely unprofitable and was unsustainable as a company. Many feared that an ecosystem so important to society and the dissemination of information was threatened to close down, and therefore many felt that Musk's takeover and injection of capital into the company were very necessary. Secondly, Musk has a large dedication to free speech. This is hugely important given the large amount of grievances within the community about the way Twitter handled banning individuals or banning particular speech. This is best seen through Donald Trump's banning of Twitter and movement to an alternative social media platform. Thirdly, though, Musk promised to inject a large amount of money and time into upgrading the platform. This meant things such as removing spam and bots and also increasing the transparency for the algorithms. For individuals who use Twitter quite a lot, this seemed hugely appealing and would move Twitter to a new frontier. There are also three arguments against Musk's takeover of Twitter. The first one is that he's harmful for the company and the platform. Many argue that this can already be seen through the large number of staff who have either been fired overnight or have already left the platform. Similarly, the blue tick authenticity that exists on Twitter has been suggested to change for a subscription service, which may lock out many individuals off the platform. Secondly, many feel that there is a dark reality to Musk's dedication to free speech. For many individuals who feel like Twitter previously protected them, particularly individuals who come from minority status or are vulnerable, feel that Musk will allow rafts of speech on the platform which could be incredibly harmful or dangerous, especially forms of hate speech that were previously locked out. Thirdly, and possibly most importantly, people think it is dangerous to concentrate a large amount of power in the hands of one man. Twitter has undeniable amounts of influence over what people believe and the information that they consume. Musk has already been seen to dissolve the whole board of Twitter and replace it with a close selection of his own friends and allies to form his own war room in order to make critical decisions and changes for the company. Many think that a platform that has so much influence, such as Twitter, should not be allowed to be controlled by just one man. There are some key things that we need to consider when looking at Musk's takeover of Twitter. The first one is whether or not we want to prioritize removing the dissemination of particular views off of platforms or changing those views completely. This is important because banning people off mainstream social media platforms, like Donald Trump off Twitter, doesn't necessarily change their views. In fact, in many cases, it actually further radicalizes them by placing them in deeper echo chambers on other platforms such as Parler. On the flip side, though, keeping those views on mainstream platforms leaves vulnerable people open to seeing them and being victims of hate speech. The second thing to consider is if it is such that the ecosystem of Twitter changes and it no longer provides the value to individuals, where will people turn for their source of information or communication? Many have suggested that Mastodon may be the new Twitter and the new platform that is central to our lives. But others have suggested that older platforms like Tumblr might be the way to go. It does seem, however, that these platforms don't have the exact same appeal and functioning that Twitter does. Thirdly, it's important to consider what role we want Twitter to play and whether or not we consider it to be a private company or a private company with a public edge. For example, lots of TV broadcasters have rules over how much they can control or how many people can own set numbers of them. Do we need to move those same rules to the world of social media? Or are we going to leave Twitter and other platforms a complete free-for-all?
Join the conversation at Fair Observer and subscribe to our YouTube channel.